Okay, so I've already prepped my skin by putting on some moisturizer, and I've also put some additional sunscreen just under my eyes, just for some extra protection in that area. So I don't put any primer on or any foundation. I find that it will settle in the fine lines that I do have, and I don't want that. So I actually just start right in with powder, and the powder that I have is the Hourglass. This powder right here. And what I do is I just basically put that in my T-zone, and I'm not very careful with it at all, because this is just the look that I go for every day. So what I'm kind of doing, or attempting to do anyways, is just to put down a base for the other powders to lay on top of. I will use some cream products, but for the most part, they're powder. And then I just set everything at the end with water. I did have a setting spray at one point, but it ran out and I didn't feel like buying more, so it's just water. Still find though that helps the powder set in look more natural. It's my thought anyway. So after I have that layer of powder down, what I like to do is I will go in with just a little bit of highlighter, just to give some glow. And what I've been using lately is the Becca, Chloe, and Malika BFFs palette for lighter skin. Actually, I think this is the Chloe one. I'm not sure. Let me just check the back. Yeah, this one's by Chloe. So I'm not actually looking for a highlight here. I'm just looking for a little bit of glow. I will be adding more highlight after. So yeah, in case it's not apparent by this point, this isn't so much a tutorial. It's just my basic everyday look that I go for, and it's pretty simple, it's pretty quick, minus the talking, as I'm sure you hear on a lot of tutorials and etc. It takes me much less time than it would if I weren't talking. So what this is this is the dim light, the ambient lighting by Hourglass. I do have a mixture of products, but I find that Hourglass is very forgiving on the skin. It gives it a very natural looking glow. For the most part, it actually doesn't look like you're wearing makeup, which I like. Not that I mind if it looks like I'm wearing makeup, but you know, I just want that healthy glow overall. So I bring that a bit down the neck into this area, just so everything blends. And there's kind of no rhyme or reason to this part. I just do it until I like how the overall effect looks. I'll still use this in the winter too, which is what I like about this powder. You can just be a little more heavy-handed in the summer months, and then in the winter, just to give yourself some color, because people tend to be paler in the winter, you can give yourself a little bit of color back in your cheeks. So next up, I am going to be using the Radiant Magenta Ambient Lighting Blush by Hourglass. I've used this color quite a bit, but I like it for the flush that it gives. I may add another blush on top afterwards, I'm not sure. A little bit to my nose, down my neck, a little on my forehead. So basically with my powders, what I try to do is I just try to blend everything in together so it looks somewhat seamless. Now, I'm just going to be taking my Glow Kit by Anastasia. This is the Sugar palette. So depending on the season, I make my choice of the highlights based on that. So I think what I'll do today is I'll go for a little bit of butterscotch, which is here. Maybe add a little bit of gumdrop on top of that. Most of the brushes that I'm using are by Real Techniques. That's because I like to find them at Winners for a good price, and I like to find them at Walmart as well, but I prefer Winners. So that was the butterscotch. Now I'll add the gumdrop on top. A little bit on my Cupid's bow, like every other person on YouTube does. And then what I'll do is, just for my inner corner of my eye, squirt some of my water. Take a pencil brush, and now I'm going to take Marshmallow right here on the inner corner. And it is a very bright highlight, so what I'll probably do, it actually reminds me a bit of MAC Nylon. What I'll do is I'll take a Q-tip and just rub that down a little bit, just so it's not as intense. In the overall effect at the end. Okay. So next I will move on to eyes. I don't really have a set order that I do things in. This is the Huda Beauty, the New Nudes palette. And what I like to do is I like to start off with the color Play, which is right here. And I like to use that all over. Just to give a little bit of warmth to my eye area. Now, if this was a work day, what I would do is I would probably just use this palette, but because I have some extra time, I'm going to be mixing a few palettes together. So this does have a lot of kickback, so I just like to go like this after. I don't use the other colors that much, but I do really like that color Play. So then what I reach for is my Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. I like to go into Milk Chocolate, which is right here. And typically what I'll do is I'll use milk chocolate, a little bit of semi-sweet, maybe some hazelnut, and some creme brulee. I like the creme brulee with the color of my eyes. I find it just enhances them a bit. But this look is fairly neutral. And again, it does seem like a lot of steps, but minus the talking, I could do this in about 15 minutes and then be out the door on a work day. So now I'm just going into Semi-Sweet, which is right here. And then I'm going to go into Creme Brulee and put that all over my crease area. Okay, so this step just depends on what palette I'm working with. Because I have this Too Faced palette in my hand right now, I'll stick with that one. But now what I like to do is just in my arch area of my eyebrow, I'll take whatever the lightest color I have is, and I'll put that up there for now. Not so much to highlight, but just to brighten. And then I'll actually take that into the inner corner as well, just to brighten everything up. And no rhyme or reason to this one, just until I like how it looks, then I'll stop. And then just to tie everything back in together again, what I will do is I will go back to my Huda Beauty palette, and I will go back to the color Play, which was this peachy color right here. I'll take my big fluffy blending brush, dip in again, and just go back over everything. Nothing is careful, just blending. So I like how that looks right now, so I'm gonna leave it. And what I'll do now typically is I'll take my big fluffy face brush, and if I do see that I have any fallout underneath, I'll just wipe that away. Sometimes I will take the brush that I used for under my eyebrow and just clean up slightly at the edges of my eyes. And what I've liked to do lately is I like to take a brow brush by Real Techniques, and then I will go into whatever dark color I have. Right now I like to use the color Smoke from this Tarte palette, which is called the Clay Play face shaping palettes for contouring and stuff, but I mainly just use the eye shadows in this one. I will rub it off a little bit on the back of my hand because I don't want too much fallout, and then I'll just stamp it into my lash line just to enhance. I don't really want it to be that noticeable. If it is, I don't try too hard to conceal that fact, but for the most part, I just take my finger, smudge it, try to blend it in a little bit. I like the effect that this gives, but I do find during the day that if I blink too much, or if it's a relatively humid day, I will get transfer from the top lash line to the bottom. So just be aware of that, if that's something you're concerned about, which most people would be. So again, I'll take my big face brush and just sweep away. I don't bake. To each their own that like to do that. However, I find that when I bake, all of that powder just settles in my fine lines and makes them way more noticeable than I want them to be. So I don't bake at all. That's another reason that I also don't like to use concealer under my eye or both eyes, just because it settles in all my fine lines. It enhances them, in my opinion, makes them a lot more noticeable. I don't want that. So now what I've been doing lately with regards to brows is I have this Anastasia brow gel in the color Blonde, and depending on what the day is, if it's night, I'll go a lot heavier, but if it's day, what I like to do is I like to start at the inner corner and just make a line from where my brow would start to the highest point of my arch, and then bring down the tail. And I'm not super careful on this part because I'll clean it up with a Q-tip after, but what I like to do at the top is I like to start at the highest point of my arch and brush down. So it's almost like penciling in your brows or drawing the outside of them. minus the pencil. So I'm not done, but I'm going to do the other side now. So I start at the bottom, and as is the case with most people, they never turn out the exact same, but that's okay. Get them close enough. So I'm actually just sliding the color across right now, and I actually really like this color. It's very close to my natural brow color. Now I find that on this brow, which is my right, the hairs at the front of the brow are a lot more filled in on this side naturally. They're sparser on this side, so I just work a little harder on this side to match them up. There's a few more bald patches on this side. And another thing too is I don't typically put too much time into my brows because I have bangs. So for the most part, my brows are covered depending on the length of my bangs at the time. So that all affects the amount of time I put into my brows as well. So I'm liking how they're looking for the moment. What I'll do now is get my Q-tip and just clean it up a little bit, and if I like how it looks, then that's how I'm gonna leave them. I would like this line here just a little bit sharper, but you know, with brows, the thing is the more you play with them, the more you start noticing things, and then you spend way too much time on them, which I actually don't. So I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna take my Q-tip and I'm gonna drag it just like an eraser. Get anything I don't like. And I will go back in again with the white shadow like I did when I was doing my eyes at the end, just to really sharpen up that area. But I'm not going to use any concealer or anything like that under there. So this time I'll grab the white from the Tarte palette that I was using. It's called Solstice right here. And again, I was just cleaning up, not really trying to achieve any magic on that part. Sweep up under my eyes again. So I'm happy with how that looks. For the most part, I would say I would leave it here with regards to anything I'm putting on my face. Depending on how I'm feeling, I might take a little bit of my Milk makeup. I have the Lip and Cheek in the color Swish. And I like it. It's really fresh. And what I might do is just add a pop to the apples of my cheeks. Blend a little bit. I might bring a little across my nose, a little bit down my neck, a little bit across the forehead. Why not? Now what I like to do is at this point I would use my water to spray my face. Throw a little bit of highlight here. Why not? But yeah, I'll use the water to spray my face. So this is just butterscotch again. And then after that water settles a little bit, I will put on some mascara. But for the sake of the video, I'll start the mascara beforehand. I do have a Tarte lash curler that I typically use, which is right here, and I love it a lot. I have one at home. I also have one at work for the days where you have to rush out the door and you don't have time to put the effort into your mascara that you typically would. I like to spend a lot of time on my lashes. But in any case, the point of me saying that was that I had this in my purse the other day and the plastic part came off, so I have to go through my purse to find that. Let me just find my mascara. There it is. I have the Hourglass Caution, which I do like this one, but when I really, really, really want to get right down to the root and almost look like I have tight lined, which I don't do, I will use the L'Oreal Telescopic Carbon Black. So I like to get right down to the root first, wiggle it around. And I've been having some really good lash days lately. We don't know if today will be one, but I have. So I like to take that right to the inside corner and just keep blinking. And then I'll do that one more time, and while that eye is drying, I will do the other eye, and in most situations, I will then go back to that original eye and top it up again. With regards to lips, I don't usually wear lipstick. I much prefer gloss. Huge fan of the Buxom lip polish. I have it in the color Amanda, which is basically a clear, it's got a little bit of an iridescence to it, but it has huge sparkle. So it gives your lips a real shine to them, which I like. I like the fact that I can put that on without actually having a mirror in front of me. But the thing is, I keep that in my purse, so I don't have it here with me. But what I'll do right now is, most times when I don't have that lip gloss in front of me, I'll either use the Milk lip and cheek that I used and just pat a bit on. But I have some MAC Flamingo, which I also really like that color. So I'll dab a little bit of that on for now. I actually put an order into Sephora for a new lipstick, and Oyster Girl by MAC is a huge favorite of mine. Anything that looks like your lip but better, but just gives it that hint of shine, like you made an effort but you didn't really make too much of an effort. I like that look. So now that I've got my mascara on, I'll just put one more coat on each eye and the lipstick, and then that's it. I'll clean up under my eyes just a little bit with a Q-tip. But like I said, I don't sit here talking to myself while I do my makeup, which shaves about 5 minutes off of the overall time that this would take me. But this look here, I would do on an everyday basis. And yeah, it takes me about 15 max 20 minutes. But 20 minutes is with the cleaning my face, moisturizing. So I really, really, really like to get these lashes as lengthened as possible. I don't do falsies. Falsies and I, we're not a good match, so I do what I can with what I have. Also, underneath my eyes, I know it's not for everyone, but I'm really a big fan of sparkle, just a little bit of sparkle. So I have these Stila, just checking the name here, Glitter and Glow. They're for your eyes, they're highlighters. You can put them right on. your eyelid, which sometimes I will do, but I actually prefer, I have quite a few colors. I actually prefer just to put them right under, just in the center of my eye. So I think today I'll use Monarch. And just put a little bit on my hand just to make sure. The shadows don't all come out with the same consistency, so I just want to make sure I'm not going to gloop too much here. And I just like to put it right here, just for a little hint of shine. And then I will take a Q-tip after and tidy it up just a little bit. Because depending on which color I use, like I'll show you, for example, this is probably my favorite one. This one's called Diamond Dust. It's more of a silver. This one comes out a lot more specifically to where you actually apply it to. The other one kind of smears a bit. So right now that's more than I would like. I just want it centered right under the colored section of my eye. And then I'll just swipe my Q-tip under there. So yeah, I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but the thing is, I think it makes my eyes look a little more open, and I do have very almond-shaped eyes. I tend to squint a lot too, so any help I can get to open them up a little bit, I'll do it. Okay, so this is the Milk. That's the color of that there, which I was referring to. Sometimes I'll just put that on my lips. But what I'm looking for right now is, just give me one sec. I'm picking up every single MAC lipstick other than the one I'm looking for. There's Flamingo. So here's Flamingo beside, just so you could see the difference in the tones. So yeah, I'll just put a little bit of Flamingo right in the center. And then dab it out. But like I said, I pretty much just use that Amanda shade. I did have Erica, but I ran out of it. It's a slight pink iridescence to Erica is the name of the Buxom lip gloss, whereas Amanda is more of an iridescent white shift. So that's it for my look. And then what I will typically do is just pat down anywhere where I think looks a little too shiny. Sometimes I'll add more of that Hourglass powder to the top, but then I would unclip, and I've got some dry shampoo in my hair, so I don't know how my bangs will look right now. And then I have a ponytail in, which I will take out. Now my hair is very bouffant at the moment because I had it in the ponytail. I would usually brush it, but I'm just going to leave it like that for now. And that's the finished look. So not too much going on, but that's my everyday makeup look for going to work. Might take about 5 minutes off if it was not a work day, but this is what I do, this is what I enjoy, and hope you like the look. Bye.